I don't know if you guys can see me. Okay, I think I'm live now. Hi. Hi. This is my first time doing this, so I hope it goes well. I hope none of that is too loud. I guess I had to come outside because I felt like it was the best place for me to be. Give me a second. Hello, hello. For anyone who knows me, who doesn't know me, my name is India Artist, also known as God is You. As in, God is in you, God is in all of us, and we are all God. So I'm so happy for anyone who's coming here or anyone who ends up coming here later, however it works, it doesn't matter. This is something that I wanted to start doing, and this is the first day and the first step. So proud of myself for getting up here, setting this up, and getting here, and happy for anyone who comes across the video, who um, come now or even later, it doesn't matter. I'm excited just to share what I'm thinking and going through with you guys. I've experienced it says connections unstable, so I really hope it's not that bad. I am outside, so maybe I should open the door back up. Okay, yeah, that helps. Okay. Keep the door open. Okay. But yeah, so today we're gonna be talking about addiction, right? And I'm not the type of person who has like normal addictions, like it's not alcohol or anything like that. But I do kind of have a mini addiction to something that we all. I do have a. I do have a mini addiction to something that we all, most of us, kind of like spend time doing. But I think that that experience is and what I'm learning and what I'm trying to move through because this is something that I'm dealing with currently. So I'm not a psychologist. I'm not someone who has been studying this for years and years. This is literally just personal experience, what I'm feeling this morning, what I'm thinking about this morning, these past few days, and I just wanted to talk about it and share. So addiction. We all know addiction. Usually we know addiction when it gets to a really bad point where people cannot control what they're doing, what they're saying. They don't have any self-control over the things that they put themselves around or the things that they are a part of. And usually it comes out in ways where either people are abusive, they're angry, they're aggressive, they cut ties between the people that love them. And it's a real sickness. And a lot of times people just think that um, I don't know, it's there's stigma around addiction, right? And a lot of people usually don't feel as bad for people anymore when it comes to addiction because like, well, they have the choice, which is true. Everyone has a choice to not be addicted to things, but why is the person addicted to things? Why do they feel the need to do this one thing every day, all day, every day, so we're gonna look at a few things that I've learned, and then we're gonna look at a few like experiences that I've had, and then like we'll just like flow with it. You know what I mean? So I mean, you can always start with like the definition of addiction, right? We've got the fact or condition of being addicted to a particular substance, thing, or activity. So it doesn't have to be a substance. It can be something that you just have to do every day. Like they call people like workaholics are addicted to working, stuff like that. Um, denoting the state or condition of being dedicated or devoted to something. It comes from the Latin adicere, which is to assign. Which that was interesting that I found out. Like to assign, like you're assigning something. Is it like you're assigning something to yourself, or you're like you've been assigned an addiction? I don't know. I thought that was an interesting word, an interesting root word for that to have come from. Like assign. I don't know. It was interesting when I saw it, so I want to write that one down. But yeah, you can be. It comes from the root word of assign. So you've been assigned something, like oh, you feel like it's your duty anyway. Devotion. That's why they said devotion, right? And then we have a compulsive, chronic, physiological or psychological need for a habit forming substance, behavior, or activity having harmful physical, psychological, or social effects, and typically causing well defined symptoms such as anxiety, irritability, tremors, or nausea upon withdrawal or abstinence, a state of being addicted, and a strong inclination to do or use. So, those are really key words like habit forming, behavior, um, psychological, chronic, compulsive. So like it's things that we feel like we have no control over, right? First, let's pray. God, thank you so much for bringing us here today. Help us to connect to our higher selves. Help us connect to this message. Help us to connect and find ways in ourselves within we can release old habits and things that you have called us here to release. Maybe continue to further our growth and further our path in finding you and in finding ourselves. And we thank you for all you've done and all you continue to do. Ashe. So, behavior. Like I told you, I'm not a psychologist, but I'm the type of person who I really like to go deep within my mind, deep within other people's mind, watch behavior. So I might as well be a psychologist, but I'm lazy. I'm lazy sometimes. So I think one day eventually I might venture out. But the patterns, right? So this is something I've experienced within myself. Um, habitual way of thinking, things you've always done, things you've always felt. And a lot of times habits can be created from like emotional experiences, things that tie to something that's made a root inside of us, that's made a belief inside of us. So a lot of times, a lot of our trauma creates these habits, they create these beliefs in our lives, which then make us experience something. So like when I was in college, everyone goes to college and you drink and you smoke weed, and it's like the whole thing, right? It's a part of the experience. But when I first started smoking weed, um, I was in a place where I was in a friend group, and it was a little traumatic for me because I didn't really trust the people around me. I was played and manipulated, and it was just not good energy around me. But that created that. Okay, I'm gonna invest in the mic at some point, you guys. This is the first one, so we're gonna have to, bear with me. But there was a lot of trauma around that experience. So now when I smoke, I literally start getting into my head a lot. I start getting paranoia. I start overthinking what people are feeling and how they're feeling about me. And it took a while for me to realize like I can't even smoke without those kinds of experience being attached to it. And then I would smoke because I would be put into certain situations, traumatic situations. So when I get stressed out, when I feel like um, I need to pick me up, or if I'm like, like something's just really stressing me out, I'm like, I need to smoke. And a lot of us do that. And there's just been this narrative about how like you can't really get addicted to weed, which is not true. You can get addicted to literally everything. You can get addicted to mac and cheese. Like there are people literally addicted to McDonald's. Like you can get addicted to anything that makes you feel good and takes you away, helps you escape from a traumatic response, right? That's kind of how my definition. So you can get addicted to anything that just takes you out of that space of pain, comfort, right? Well, let's think about this. Like if we need something to comfort us, to make us feel safe, doesn't that kind of sound like a child? Like aren't we like also children? And they've created this society to where we have to be grown up by 18, 21. You need to have our frontal lobes aren't even fully developed by then. But yet we're supposed to be able to make all these decisions like who to vote for and how to drive and the ability to drink and all this kind of stuff when we're still kind of developing and we're still children. So if you've never spent time when you were younger to heal the traumatic experiences that you experienced when you were younger, then that means you're going into your adulthood with those experiences, and that means technically you are still in the mentality of a child. So since you're still in the mentality of a child, you still need to find those comfort things. Children don't have self-control, right? When a child wants something, if they don't get it, they start screaming, scratching, throwing stuff, everything like that, because they don't understand the fact that, oh, maybe I don't need this. They just know that I don't feel good and I need something to make me feel good. And that's the same behavior that we see in addicts. They're children. They're children who haven't created healthy responses to their trauma. And so they've attached themselves to something that gives them a temporary fix for the things that they're going through. So now that we're talking about temporary fix and stuff like that, I wanted to really get into this card right here. So on this card, okay, if anyone's into tarot, whether you're into tarot or not, tarot is not evil. It's not people putting spells on you. It's not all that stuff that Hollywood wants you to feel and think about it so that you don't get deeper into understanding yourselves and understanding life. Tarot is a deck of archetypes, a deck of things that happen in the human experience that can help you understand the way that we have always gone through life. Connect yourself to themes to help you with your healing, with your alchemy, and to help you transform anything. And it's like a code, right? It helps you to understand, okay, when these things happen, you have this archetype, which means this. And so then through that archetype, I'm able to heal and understand my actual human experiences, which then allows me to be in control of what's going on rather than being told what to do and how to do it. So today we're talking about the devil card, right? It goes with addiction. Okay, but there's no light up there. Sorry, my brother's are like moving it up right now. So you got the devil card here, right? And what's here on the devil card when it's upright, you got addiction, materialism, trapped in bondage, dependency, discontent, excess, powerlessness, limitations, and restrictions. And when it's reverses overcoming addiction, emancipation, regaining control, reclaiming power, release, freedom, and detachment. So, like we were just saying, self control. You know, if you feel like you have no self control over what you can do, it's connected to this archetype of the devil. Now, the devil, we've been told stories about the devil in different ways. He's like the nemesis of God, and he was a fallen angel, and all these stories and stuff like that. Whether or not that man was real or not, he represents the idea of what it is when you are without God. And when you're with God, what do you feel? You feel safety, you feel comfort, you feel protected, right? And when you don't feel those things, you feel like God is not within you. So when you feel like God is not within you, you stop believing in God. You stop believing in life being able to be good for you. And so since you stop believing in those things, now you're looking outside of yourself, outside of God, because God is in you, outside of yourself to find ways to medicate. Medicate. What is medicating? We should know from our own Western system. Medication does not fix you. Medication eases the symptoms temporarily. So we're finding temporary healings, temporary fixes to things that really need a really deep analysis and a long-term plan so that in the future you don't have to deal with these things. But if you're only dealing with things in the short-term matter, you are making a contract if you want to say with the devil. This is the energy that you're exuding. So like I said, the archetypes, this is the archetype of this archetype represents when the humans fall from grace, when they fall from God, when they are without God, when they are without godliness. Because with God, you understand the strength of this power, which then helps you to understand, like, I don't need to be worried about things. I feel safe. I feel protected no matter what's going on. But when you're in a society that literally feeds off the limitations of the mind and feeds off of people being addicted to things, like how they gonna make their money? Anyways, that's not what we're talking about today. But no, for real. So if you're like catching yourself, because if you read the Bible, one of the fruits of labor, I can't remember the verse specifically, but literally just type in fruits of the spirit. The last fruit of the spirit is literally self-control. You being able to be like, this isn't good for me. I know short term it'll help me ease this, but I know long term it will make things worse. So without that self-control, without you knowing like I can't be without this, and a lot of times it happens because we're in situations where things are just hard and you need that everyday pick me up to get you back on your feet. But understand this, without that, you are weak and susceptible to the devil's energy being able to take over your mind. So then when you don't have that thing, you turn evil. So I hope it's not making me so I can make sure you can hear me. So in order for you to release these addictions, you need to find the root cause of why you feel the need. And if you're just like, yeah, I understand, like my mom left when I was young, my dad, they divorced, or I got my heart broken, or this. If you're walking around allowing for this pain to control your life, you will never be free. And if you think the addiction that you have, the thing that eases your pain is going to save you, It's actually putting you deeper into a darker hole pit, because now not only are you reliant and dependent on it, now it's even harder for you to get out of that hole. So now you're telling yourself, I can't stop. Yes, you can. But because you've been in it for so long, you haven't experienced being without it. So when you experience being without it, that helps you to get a different perspective and understand, oh, it can really work. But the problem is, when you've numbed yourself, like with my sisters, my family, as soon as they get a period cramp, they need to take like 4 Advils. And I'm like, I stopped taking pills a very long time ago. I stopped medicating myself a long time ago, because those temporary fixes are only helping to make CVS stay money. They're not helping to take care of what's going on inside of you. If you can't even handle your own period cramps, do you know how weak you created yourself to be? The more you run from your own pain, the weaker you make yourself. And that's how easy the devil can seep into your mind and take control, because you've given up your self control. And I'm not saying this stuff to you to be like, it's easy. It's not. But today, this morning, I made a decision. Yesterday, I made a decision. Got myself in bed. I took some time to myself, and I want to create new habits. And another good way to create good habits is to have good experiences with things. So you have to give yourself a chance to have good experience with something else. But it takes you getting into your mind, flushing out, getting deep within your mind, flushing out all that gunk. Feel it, cry it out, scream it out, release it, write about it. If you need to go to one of those places where they just be breaking stuff, go there, do what you got to do. But with those emotions sitting in your body, that is what is creating the habitual cycle of you being addicted to things you're addicted to. So first off, sit here and wonder if there's anything in your life that you feel like, if you had to stop it, if someone said, hey, you can't do this no more, how would you react to it? If you react angry, if you feel like you've lost all hope in the world, or if you feel like, if you feel attacked, you might want to sit and think about that thing a little bit longer, because I love smoking weed, but it doesn't do me well. It doesn't do me good, and it puts me in places I really don't want to be in. And it doesn't always make me happy. It makes me happy for that moment, but now, 3 days later, I'm spiraling, and I hate myself, and I'm shameful and angry with myself, and I'm just reminding myself and going back and opening those old wounds all the time. But if you have a good experience with weed, that's fine. But if there's anything in your life that you feel like, if you had to let go today, you would lose your mind, you have made yourself weak and susceptible to being infiltrated by the enemy. Whether you believe in God or not, there is good energy and there's bad energy. They work together, but depending on what you create out of that energy is what you get. So in some of my other videos, and I want to write some things, and I have a project in the works right now where I know this may seem like it's a little vague, but I want to work on this series, and I'm actually writing some things down right now to help people literally walk through step by step on how to dismantle these habits, and not in a way to where it's not understandable. Like, there's a lot of people who wrote a lot of things, psychology and all that kind of stuff, and there's plenty of books for that, and I'm still looking into those books and into those resources, all that kind of stuff. But this perspective, what you will get from me, is from just daily living. So anything that I do, I can do, you can do. And this is my journey, and you guys are going to be here with my journey. And as I'm trying to find myself within all of this, I'm hoping that I can inspire others to take a little extra time and think before you do certain things, and just try it. just try going a day without doing it. Yesterday, I think I smoked like 4 days in a row, and yesterday was my day that I didn't have any more. So, and I didn't stop. It's different if you stop when it's there, if you're like, but if you just keep on going, until it's gone, it doesn't really count. But I stopped, and there was a lot going on. I was dealing with a lot, and I had to go through it, and it helped me to understand what I needed to do today to make my day better. So, I went over a lot, but I also didn't go over everything. Temporary fixes, gotta find the root, what's being triggered. Till next time, let's start thinking about what our triggers. Well, no. Let's first identify the addiction. First step, let's identify it. And the best way to identify it is to take it away from you. See how much self-control you have and able to take away something. Just see it. You don't even gotta be like, oh, I'm done doing it. Just see what happens when you don't do it. That will give you some clarity on what's really going on inside of you. And it's not gonna feel good because it's not comfortable. But the faster that we release ourselves from the need of comfortability and we come from a space of trust, ultimate trust in the high above and in ourselves, I promise you, it's going to feel so much better. So much better than that hit, than that drink, than that job, than that project, or anything that you feel like you need to do in your everyday life. It's going to feel so much better once you release and once we get through this. So this is going to be an ongoing thing. We're going to work together. But today was just like an introduction on it and just me practicing talking and like expressing myself. So anyone who comes across this, I pray that anyone who comes across this is someone who needs it, someone who can receive it, someone who is aligned with it, and someone who I don't know, it's just someone who I'm meant to connect with. And however it goes, I'm grateful and I'm thankful for my voice, for my mind, for my spirit, for this beautiful earth. This beautiful earth is amazing. Okay? They want you to feel like there's not enough. They want you to feel like it's not good. They want you to feel unsafe. They want you to feel unsafe so that they can get you to do whatever they want you to do. So they can keep selling you alcohol. So they can keep selling you those pills. So they can keep selling you these experiences, these escapism experiences, so that you can forget who you are and where you came from. That's a whole nother video. I love you guys all with all my heart. And I thank God for this moment and this spirit inside of me for bringing this out. And I'm excited for what this becomes and how it goes. I thank you all so much. I thank God. I thank my ancestors and guides. I hope everyone has a blessed day. Ashe.